Hello, Hello, everyone. Welcome to the House of Dreams. I am Okami. I am your steward, and today is our fourth and final episode of A Season's Oath, and I am so happy to be here. I'm going to get some house cleaning out of the way before we present our lovely players and continue on our journey. Um, we are celebrating Black History Month alongside our friends Apochramatic Unlimited for the 2025 Black History Month TTRPG fundraiser. This year, we're raising funds on Tiltify for Black Girls Rock. Black Girls Rock is an organization and movement dedicated to empowering and celebrating Black girls and women through programs focused on leadership, education, and cultural enrichment, fostering self worth, pride, and empowerment. Each weekend of Black History Month, channels including Apochramatic Unlimited, Obsidian Brews, ourselves, and the Nerdgasm Noir Network will be hosting actual plays and panels to raise funds and show our passion, unity, and creativity. A big shout out and thanks to this year's sponsor, Transplanter RPG. Transplanter RPG is an award winning, all transgender, people of color led dark fantasy channel telling stories in an original, non colonial, anti Orientalist multiverse. They are proud to support the Apochramatic Unlimited Black History Month fundraiser and encourage everyone watching to give what they can. As always, we stand in solidarity with all oppressed people of the US and the world fighting for freedom against colonization, imperialism, and white supremacy. Free Sudan, free DRC, free Palestine, and, because I'm Boricua, free Puerto Rico. You can donate to Black Girls Rock by clicking the link in the chat to Tiltify, where your donations will be tracked live, and also check out the links for each of our cast members. Speaking of our cast members, let's allow them to introduce themselves. We're going to do this in a little bit of a reverse order than we usually do, and we're going to start with Trooper.
Hello, everybody. I am TrooperSJP, and I am playing Cuddles, your very adorable little floopy kitten. And it is nice to see you all.
All right. And then we're going to fire it on over to Umbral.
Okay. Had a glitch there trying to turn off my mute. Hello, everybody. I'm Umbralknight, and today I will be playing Vester Kaul, the Vagabond and Firelight and General Mischief Maker.
Yes. And last but certainly not least, Honey.
Hello, I am Honey, aka Honeyanddice, and I am playing Sourit de Nuit, the Prairie Vole Mothtender.
So, we're going to continue our Wanderhome journey. Our travelers have gone to many different places. But let us begin with our questions. What what place did we come from? Were there any islands or uh, phenomenon that you all encountered before the ship arrives at its destination for today? Or do you think it just kind of went straight to the island?
I would think that we stopped at an island with beautiful black sand beaches
Mm.
and just kind of spent some time just kind of enjoying the sound of the waves and just kind of just taking a moment to just drink in nature and just take it easy on the beach.
Mm. Has it been a long journey?
I think for Vester, it's always a long journey. Just as I'm sure for Cuddles, it's never a long journey.
uh, uh, well, we're going to ask one more question, and that is the one that we're going to answer silently and in our heads. Where is my home? You're sailing on the Laughing Carp, going into a beautiful, vast lagoon, the place known as the Zephyr Isle. You arrive at this place. Decide what makes it feel different than what you're used to. So as you pull into this lagoon, how is this island different?
No one dies.
Oh, maybe everyone is like spirits of some kind?
No, they just don't. They don't die or age. This is a place where there's no stress. There's nothing out of uh, order, and so people just live in perfect harmony. So no one ages or dies, uh, or uh, or gets sick.
Hmm. Okay. And so Zephyr Isle has three natures. It is an island, which is a place kept secret and separate from the rest of Haeth. It has a lagoon, which is a place of contemplation, introspection, and self-reflection. And also, it's a pier. As the ship goes into lagoon, you see a vast shipping pier, past where the land ends, but not all the way out to the sea. It's an idle place between places where folks meet to talk, fish, or just watch the waves. The aesthetics of Zephyr Isle are a looming god, an inquisitive kid who has never seen the outside world, a glorious waterfall, a watchful creature who hides from the outside, rattling boards and a gentle sway beneath your feet, and a chilly breeze and a hot sun. This place can always describe the comfort of an isolated world, show conflict caused by isolation, give someone a token when they respect this place's difference. It can describe the water and all the tiny creatures that live in it. It can make matters worse through people's inaction. It can ask, "What have you been thinking about lately?" and give them a token for their thoughts. It can ask someone what they find soothing about this place and give them a token. This place can describe a small handful of people with lines in the water and chatter on their tongues. And last, this place can also always squander time that may be better spent elsewhere. The folklores of this place are the cave where the storms stay at night, the waterfall's broken heart, and the ancient daemon who lives in the depths. common animal folk on Zephyr Isle? Monkey, parrot, gull, boar, and iguana. And the small and forgotten gods here are glowing underwater flowers and koi fish who whisper secrets. Yosef is like, all right, folks, this is where we're going to be for the holiday of Rest Isle. Everybody get your blankets, your favorite tea. We're going to dock over there, beach there. We're probably going to keep to the ship, folks, but probably set up a camp on the beach. But you're all more than welcome to explore the island if you like. And you can already see, like, further in the island where you see, like, you can see, like, decorations and little, like, alcoves and setup as it's Rest Isle. Monsoon is ended. It is the very end of monsoon. The rains have stopped. It's interesting timing because right around the time you calmed the north wind, suddenly the rain started to become less. And the holiday of Rest Isle commemorates the end of Leap and the start of Bright, and is spent caring for yourself and others. The traditions of Rest Isle are enormous fans, and you can see some of these big, colorful fans, like woven out of like palm frond, and then with like ribbon interlaced, and people are fanning each other. The feast without cooking, massages, fresh picked fruit, and long meandering tales. During Rest Style, everyone can always get a token whenever you decide not to do something you should be doing. Spend a token to find joy in doing something you're not very good at, and fall asleep.
Okay. So during the journey on the way here, knowing that Resla is coming up, and one of those traditions is a feast without cooking, um, Suri has been sure to, gather nuts and dried fruits and little pieces of chocolate and all of these things in these little bags over time, and not really explaining what they're for, but like high value treats that could be put together in these trail mix like uh, mixtures. And when they arrive, she's all bundled up, she has her belongings and so on. Um, really, really would rather not sleep on the ship if possible. It's been a lot
Mhm.
of ship-based
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
they put the plank down, they kind of beach the ship, and then they have like a little rowboat that can carry you all to the island shore proper.
um, and is simply going to look at her companions and say, "Did you know that there is a moth? One moth, I've only ever seen one of them that can actually swim. Maybe we'll see a few of those."
Perhaps.
And Cuddles spent most of the trip um, taking care of the sort of the ivory moth that was
Mhm.
given by Zephyr, and also um, studying Suri's books, trying to figure out how to read and write, like practicing reading and writing,
Mhm.
because Cuddles didn't really know how to do that, but has spent most of the time from that time onwards, like just playing with the moth and and playing with it, and then also studying these, like, practicing making the curves of the letters. That's hard sometimes, but like practicing making them, and just like really trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. And Suri innocently, forgetfully leaves behind occasionally like partially written letters or things that has like Cuddles' names written on the top, in bigger letters so that
Mhm,
they can see that and so on, but is not being overly pushy, allowing
mhm,
Cuddles the opportunity to ask, hey, what is this
mhm,
letter or what does this shape
mhm,
mean? Um,
mhm.
and just being supportive in that way.
And I would say probably by this time, Cuddles can write their name, and can write like a couple of small words, uh, but is mostly practicing sounding things out
Mm-hmm.
at the moment, and is working on reading, is working on reading, and um, yeah, there's just like a lot of. And sometimes there's writing on things maybe one shouldn't write on, like walls. But is trying, is trying.
Vester is going to exit the ship and see a group of people kind of with lines in the water fishing, and is
Mhm.
immediately going to make a beeline for them. But along the way, of course, with Restly happening, he will pass by uh, a series of tables with lots of fruit, and he will reach over kind of absent-mindedly as he passes by for a piece of fruit, but realize that he has this little sack of like trail mix that Sourit made, and so he will kind of flip that into his other hand, grab a piece of fruit, shove it in his mouth, and then keep going as his cheeks kind of puff out with his piece of fruit as he goes over and starts fishing with the and then as he finishes off that bit of fruit, he'll start munching on the trail mix as he's fishing.
Uh, you, there is a rather bright-faced, tall, gull gentleman, in some really nice like fishing pants and a linen open button shirt, and his feathers are kind of done up a little bit, kind of like a mohawk. And he's got like some cool like some of his feathers have been done in like dreads that's decorated with like seashells and beads. And he looks over at you, and he's also fishing on the shore. And he's like, "Ah, welcome. Coming to celebrate Rest Isle and the Zephyr Isle.
Yes.
You don't get very many visitors these days."
Oh, well, that's I don't know. Is that fortunate or unfortunate?
You know, most newcomers who come here decide to stay, and then all of a sudden they're not newcomers anymore.
Sure,
It's just
that's
that
fair.
kind of place.
That's fair.
And it's at the point that you notice like the color of his eyes is like the color of the great blue sky, and you recognize that color. It is almost exactly like the eyes that you saw the white furred cat
Mm,
avatar of the northern wind.
interesting. Vester will just kind of nod and just keep fishing.
What's your name, stranger?
uh, well, there are those who call me, well, several things, but
Several things. That's an interesting name.
yes. But I go by
Everyone
Vester in
chuckles.
some places.
Well, my name's Wash.
An interesting name.
Eh, My father had an interesting sense of humor. And now that we know each other's names, we're friends. You're not a stranger anymore.
Sure. You should meet Cuddles. You remind me of Cuddles.
Cuddles. Now that's an interesting name.
Cuddles is an interesting individual. He's gonna
And I
like
think
look around and
Cuddles-
see if Cuddles is anywhere about.
Yeah, where
think-
are Cuddles and Sourit right now?
Coming off the boat, I assume,
Okay.
and sort of hitting that sort of beach area. And Cuddles will look up to Sourit and
To Sourit. Say, Vester is fishing, and I don't know how to fish. May I have permission to go and sit next to him and learn?
Of course. It might be a wonderful opportunity to have a nice little conversation. Um, I'll go find a way and a place for us to camp.
Oh, do you want help with that? Because I can help with that if that's more important.
It's not more important than learning how to fish. And imagine you might actually get to see one of the moths that swim underwater, or the baby ones.
And if there's a baby one, can I also have it? If it wants to come along?
The Lunar
Or bring it
Moth
to you?
flashes a little bit jealously.
Well, the baby moths have to have time to grow into bigger moths before they can come with us.
Okay.
But they still like to whisper.
Okay. Come on.
and Cuddles sort of goes to the little lunar moth and sort of like pads on down to where Vester is and like plops down next to Vester.
Wash turns, looks down, smiles, waves.
That's Cuddles.
Oh!
Cuddles, wash, Cuddles.
You're gonna have a really great time with Tino.
Mr. Vester, will you teach me how to fish?
Sure. Yes, Vester will proceed to like start teaching Cuddles how to fish. Wash, do you have any oysters here?
Yeah, right over there. He goes down to his fishing tackle box, which is like a bright blue color that has like ocean waves painted on it, and he like click opens it up and goes into a little bucket, and he's like, "Here you go."
Oh, excellent. He's gonna like look at the oyster. What do you know about sealing wax? And as he's teaching Cuddles how to fish.
So you hear him before you see him, and it's this little pad, feet in the sand. And then before you know it, standing there, maybe about the same height, roughly, as Cuddles, big, wide eyes, vibrant green scales, wearing like some cute little brown shorts and an off-white tunic, is a little boy who is an iguana. And he just comes up and he like looks at the two of you. Hello, I'm Dino. Are you strangers? Wow. Where did you come from?
Everywhere.
Are you okay? I've never met anyone my age before.
Mm. My name's. I need a new name.
A
I
new
should ask
name.
Sourit.
That's a good person to ask.
Does Sourit collect names? Are they a small god?
No, Sourit knows everything.
Oh, I want to meet someone who knows everything. Can I come with you?
Okay. Follow
And
me.
and Tino just, and you could hear his slippy in the sand, little scaly feet following behind, and he's just fascinated with everything.
As they run off, Vester is just going to kind of lean back, seated on the beach, and being a vagabond and able to have things he's not supposed to have. A hat just sort of appears in his hand, and he plops it on his head and pulls it down over his eyes, and just with his line in the water, and just starts.
Take a token for taking a moment of rest. And also sleeping on the holiday. No token for that. A token for the first one.
Yeah.
But I want to acknowledge that you're also celebrating the holiday
Oh yes.
appropriately.
Yes.
Sourit, you head over. Do you go over? What kind of settlement is in this place? What do you come upon as you're going a little bit further from the edge of the beach into where there are more people?
I think it's the typical port town, but just with a more kind of laconic edge to it, simply because there's nothing for people to worry about except for perhaps weather. Therefore, you wouldn't build your house on the sand. You build it a little further up and so on.
Yep.
And she is primarily looking for a. She's heard that there's waterfalls here, and near waterfalls, there's usually more solid ground and so on. And she's just
Mhm.
looking for a nice, safe place outside to set their camp.
You
Um,
managed to clock, further into the island, further down. It starts becoming a little greener, less sand, solid ground, and you find a beautiful, pristine waterfall, and a source of fresh water uh, deeper in the island. And you can see a cave behind the waterfall.
okay. Um, she just paused for a second to look at the waterfall because these days she doesn't trust most natural things at all. Like she's just kind of very, and she has all their things kind of gathered, and she eyes the waterfall for a second, tilts her head to the side, and then just asks, just in case, "Excuse me, is this place occupied?"
Um, are you in a place to listen right now? You
Well,
hear in
as a mess,
response.
Suri pauses. Okay, sets her little bundle of stuff aside, gets a piece of paper out of her satchel and a pen, and says, "As a member of the Mothtenders, it's both my honor and my joy to listen carefully to whatever message you need me to pass on or document for you."
Oh, thank goodness. And appearing out of the mist and forming on the rocks is a waterlogged um, spirit of sorts. It's taken the form of, I will say, cat of a similar fur to the northern wind god, but uh, she has long, long, wavy hair in addition to the fur. Her eyes are that same vibrant blue of the sky, and she's wearing these really colorful patterned robes, very similar to the ones that in the real world you would see in the Pacific Islands, in Hawaii or Samoa, but they're wrapped around her in like kind of a different way, and like almost like a in like folds. Uh, and she just sort of floats over to you, and as you realize where like the cat form is a bit of a suggestion, as when she gets closer you realize that she's made of like mostly made of mist, and just sort of like sits next to you looking at Sourit with a look of just sadness and watchfulness.
Um, Suri, I'm going to go ahead and spend a token because I need to spend tokens. To offer someone the chance to connect with you on a personal level. And Suri is going to watch this person for a moment and then just simply go. Sometimes it's okay to just sit comfortably in silence, but if there's something that burdens your heart, would you like to write it?
I haven't written in such a long time. Uh, okay. Um, and she starts writing. She pulls out this beautiful blue jade calligraphy pen that just creates its own ink as she takes it to the paper. And it's this dark, deep, deep blue. Like it looks black at first glance, but as the light shines on it from the sunlight above, you realize that it's flashing all of these different oceanic blue shades. And as she writes it, you can almost hear her voice as the words take to paper. And she says, "My name is Sai. My father, the northern wind, left me behind to watch over my children and my grandchildren here on Zephyr Isle. He promised me he would come back, and he hasn't. Just sent storms, manifestations of his wrath, storms that hide in caves sometimes. I miss him so much, and as Restyle comes, I just want him to know that I miss him, and his family misses him. I wish the war hadn't changed him." And she signs it, Sai.
Alrighty then. Um, Suri doesn't read the letter as it is written, but can't hear but overhear what it's about. However, is a consummate professional. So it's simply, alrighty then. Now, some letters are meant to be sent, and some letters are meant to be held close. Would you like to save that letter, or would you like me to post it?
Oh, My father is so angry and so dangerous. I wouldn't want you to um and like these big she starts to get overflow with emotion and tears start streaking uh down her face that instantly turn into like mist, the same mist that is created when the waterfall hits the ground, hits the edge of the lagoon, is what her tears turn into when they hit the ground. And I think I would
Oh,
like you to post it as she sort of rolls into a flow. She goes from this big expression of emotion, but into like calm, almost like a wave breaking and then flattening on the seashore.
alrighty then. As it may happen, I do know exactly where your believe it's your father. Um,
You've seen him?
I'm a Mothtender, therefore I am required to know where exactly to deliver things. I have seen many amazing things. I can't confirm or deny that it was your father, but based on everything that you just described, it sounds very similar. Would you like this expedited, or would you like it to be shipped, just standard?
Standard would be fine. It's
All
rest
right.
style. Why are you working? I just wanted an ear. You know how it is.
Oh, I have no intentions on sending this today. I don't work on my vacations. However, I can have it saved and ready to go when I do begin work again. Um,
What a blessing.
yes, I enjoy what I do. Uh, is that cave the cave where things, where the storms go to hide or sleep or nap or whatever it is that they
No,
do in there?
no. No, 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 no. That's my cave. It's where my shrine is. Do you need hospitality? You can stay there if you like. It's very dry.
It would be an honor to take refuge in the hospitality of your home. As long as you're sure we won't bother you, sometimes people's, holiday traditions differ and
I haven't had, well, I'm probably going to um head into my children's home, so I'm probably not going to be there until the evening. So, it would be nice to have guests, especially for the one who is delivering my feelings to my father and their friends.
Hmm, yes. Alrighty then. Is there anything else I can do for you when it comes to listening, giving words of support?
I no, no. It's just been so long since I've talked to someone. I've pretty much talked the ear off of everyone on this island, and thank you. And she sort of gets up, and then uh, a small smile cracks, but she's not looking straight at you. She's looking like behind you as Tino uh, kind of runs around you, Cuddles, as you like break the tree line and find Suri, and it says "Sigh!" and like runs ahead and just wraps his arms around Sai. Um, oh, Tino, it's so good to see you. It's good to see you too. I'm going to have guests. Guests? Uh, really? Other than me? Other than you. This is Suri. Suri's a Mothtender. Oh, you're the Suri that knows everything.
I know a lot of things, and I've met a lot of things, so it is very possible that I've met in everything. But I'd have to look at my records to see.
My new friend needs a new name and said they had to come to you because you know everything.
And Zuri just looks at Cuddles for a moment and then looks at the place that they're supposed to be setting up camp and then looks at the strangers and looks back at Cuddles. Is just quickly making like an evaluation of how much of her family's business that she wants out there on the street, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yes.
like,
Mm.
and goes, well, name thinking is a very, very time consuming and important thing that you can't do on an empty stomach. Um, I will finish setting up a place for us to rest. Sai here was very, very kind enough to offer us the hospitality of their cave. And after Vester finishes fishing as well, there's some lovely things you can make without even having to add a bit of fire. We can thinly slice and get all of that ready as well, and have a wonderful family rest lie meal.
Uh, Sai waves her paw, and suddenly, like parting a curtain, the waterfall splits, and also rocks come out of the ground, out of the water, leading up the side of the cliff to the cave, offering you all a safe means of entering the cave without having to risk slipping and falling in the water. Uh, and as she does that, you can see several koi in the part of the lagoon, the freshwater part of the lagoon, glowing and shimmering in the sunlight.
Mm, should we wait? If we go inside the cave, then Vester won't be able to find us.
I can go get your friend Vester. I know where this cave is. I come here all the time.
And then it takes her a moment, but then she looks at the moth, and then she looks at Cuddles, and then looks at the moth, and then says, Cuddles, would you like to send your first message via your moth?
Yes, yes.
All right. And
How do I do that?
Suri's going to take a piece of paper, write the most polite way that you could write. When you finish fishing, please get your behind up to this place right here, and kind of sketches it on like the piece of paper, folds it up, puts it in an envelope, hands it reverently to Cuddles, and then says,
Oh,
now, you just let your moth know exactly who it needs to go to.
oh. Hello, Luna. This is a message
Luna nods.
to go to Vester, the one who knows lots of things too, and has lots of things and can be lots of places. You know Vester.
Luna flaps their beautiful wings and captures it in her little insect paws, and flies, and there's like a trail of moon dust that sprinkles uh, in Luna's wake as Luna flies over to Vester. Message in hand.
Vester will look up and kind of lift up the edge of his hat and open an eye and see this message, and will reach out, take the message, and unfurl it and read it. And at first, Vester thinks to himself about his nap, and he's like, but I'm napping. And then he will realize that Suri sent the note as he recognizes her hand. And the first thought then that will occur to Vester is lunch. So he will stand up quickly. He will rush over to Gull, and he will to Wash, and he will set the hat on Wash's head,
Oh,
and then he will hand him the pole, and he will go lunch, and he will scamper off in the direction following the moth.
hopefully they have a good time. I'm going to, if it's okay with the group, jump a little ahead to all of you in the cave and getting ready to eat your first feast without cooking of the day. Everyone, what does the setup of the cave look like? The cave itself is dry, it's flat. The entrance to the cave has a lovely waterfall cascading down. You can hear the musical noise of the mist and the water. But there's a little shrine in there with made of stone, maybe about knee height to Cuddles, um, and worn away with a little bit of moss growing on it, and it's a statue representation of Sai. And uh, Tino is there. Sai has gone to visit her children in the village. So what does the setup look like? How has everybody kind of inhabited your space for the holiday?
So absolutely, go ahead, Cuddles.
So Cuddles has sort of like placed like the things they've got. They don't have like lots of things, but the things they've got right next to Cerise's stuff, but in a place where Cuddles can get light, so that Cuddles can keep practicing with writing, and place Luna next to all of Cerise's moths, and Cuddles has got like a little book, a little like writing booklet that is not efficiently. The letters are too big. Do you know what I mean? Like it's when you don't know how to write particularly well, you're not particularly efficient with space. But it's got that, and it's like just placed everything down in a pretty like a in a sort of like a reflection of the way that Sourit puts things down, right? If like Sourit tends to be pretty organized, and so Cuddles is trying to put things down in an organized way too. Things are not as Cuddles is small, so things are not as organized yet. Cuddles is still a little wee babe, but there's like an attempt of. It sort of looks like Cuddles is trying to make things orderly in the way that Sourit makes things orderly. It looks like what a small kid would do when they're trying to be orderly, which means it's a bit hit and miss in how successful that is, but that's what it looks like.
And to prepare for the meal, because this is how back where Sourit is from, that they celebrate it with all the dried fruits, and there's tiny little dried anchovies and tiny little dried shrimp and these slivers of different tree nuts, and like I said, little chunks of chocolate and this and that, and she's mixing all together. There's one bowl that has the little tiny crackers and everything in it as well, that's savory, and another bowl where things are a little bit more sweet, because how they share is everyone um, makes themselves a small cup and then passes it to the person beside them, and then that person makes a cup and passes it around as they share in a meal, take a break, and so on. And as the not most responsible, but as the sort of person that takes the lead on this in this kind of makeshift family, she's making sure that those particular traditions remain, and explaining everything to Tino. These come from this island. This comes from over here. We
Oh,
put in a little piece of fruit um, for each person that we love. Like that, and she just goes through each thing very carefully. Cuddles has been shown this already on the boat, like is familiar with this. Um, but she's
But
got all
Cuddles
of that
pays more
instant
attention this
awareness.
time. Because
Yeah.
like Cuddles, generally speaking, if you always generally speaking in the past, you've always had to tell Cuddles things multiple times.
Mhm.
Cuddles' attention span was always very in the clouds, Um, but Cuddles is paying attention, and you can tell that Cuddles is he's trying to concentrate and
Mhm.
stay present to remember these things, and is like nodding when they're like, oh yeah, but like there's a lot of trying to really remember as if like as if they forgot some stuff, but now they're really trying to remember.
Um, yep. And there's this boundary where if anyone is getting too close, like she's set some extra, like not necessarily scraps, but the stuff that she's done mixing off to the side, knowing that Vester likes to have a handful of edible things, it seems like at any time. And so it's just like that over, don't know that over there. And then we'll turn back to the younger ones. And then when like something empties, she's just quickly with the paw sliding another dish over there so that the main meal is not impacted. So
what about you, Vester? Like, how did you set up your comfort space? Like, what does that look like before you all sit down for the meal?
I mean, I think Sourit just kind of captured it pretty well. Vester has a seat at the table and just kind of an array of food that is just kind of laid out, and kind of some things are kind of stacked on top of each other, and there's
Hmm.
some plates that are on like teetering balance of various things that look like they're about to fall over but somehow miraculously don't. And Vester is just kind of like eyeing each piece of food, trying to figure out where to start. And just as he's doing that, though, it looks like he's in deep contemplation, thinking, well, do I want to start with this or do I want to start with that? But as he's doing that, he's actually like picking up little bits and putting them in his mouth. Yeah, that's Vester's comfort space. He's like, and he has a big wide grin.
Huh. What is this? And Tino points to one of the purple orchids that you've kind of been correcting, that's sort of, it's a little wilted, but it's peeking out of Vester's bag.
Vester's kind of look down. What's this? He'll just kind of take hold and take a look, a closer look.
You get like a little flashback to when when you were back at, a couple of months ago. It's withered. It's still fragrant. Um, and maybe a little bit of the magic of some of the places you've been have kind of kept it, still a little bit fresh than it should be after 2 months. Like it should be completely dry. It's not wilted. I will say that, but it is significantly less wilted than it should be.
Okay.
Um, how do you feel looking at it? This reminder of your past.
Vester is contemplative, but also trying to think about the next stage in his life. And this just kind of, he starts in this moment, I think, to ponder if how much this represents what came before and how much he sort of wants to think about what lies ahead.
Light seems to respond to that. And even though it is early afternoon, starts to glow and fill the room with a warm light. Oh! What is that? As Tino points to your pouch, where
Oh,
Light was sleeping, completely forgotten about the flower.
oh, that's Light.
Are you a firelight?
I am.
And it flies out of your pouch and then rests on your shoulder. Oh, I've never met a firelight before, much less spent a rest style with one.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, Light and I are different, but the same. And we travel together and bring light to places.
Do you not need that orchid anymore, Mr. Vester?
I think perhaps not.
I can take it.
Sure. He'll give
Cool.
it to Cuddles.
And they take the orchid and they go over to their sort of where they've got their stuff, and they take out the mirror. They put the orchid on the mirror, and they turn to Sourit.
Mm. Miss Sourit, do you have anything that's broken that doesn't work?
And there is this fleeting thought in Suri's mind. And what she only qualifies for Cuddles is, I have, and I know, many precious things that are broken, but it doesn't mean that they don't work. And then she just says, how about after we have a delicious meal together, we take a nap?
I'm not tired anymore.
Well, I'm really sleepy.
It's
Okay.
rest style. It's the one time where we're allowed to take a nap whenever we want.
You can always take a nap whenever you want.
Yeah. Seriously. I think, yeah, for some people, they can't, I think. But yeah, naps are commoditized to some people. All right. Does anyone want to add anything to the mixes?
Oh, and Tino pulls out some dried plantain chips that it seems like he had been collecting for this very holiday. Here you go. I dried them myself.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
and they're small. They're like the little ring ones. And I used the sweet plantains, not the savory ones. So you're gonna want to put them in that bowl.
All right. Cuddles, would you like to
Oh.
mix them in for us?
Yes. Also, you can eat flowers, right?
Yes.
Then we could eat the orchid. And then it's not wasted. Because we shouldn't waste anything.
And Suri has a moment to go through the Rolodex. Are orchids toxic?
I will say these orchids are not specifically for the purposes of the
She-
story. I'm pretty
she
sure
has the
somebody out
mom.
there is a botanist and they'll be like,
No, they're not. To
Okami.
they're
Not in
not.
this story. Oh, they're not. Okay.
Not to cats specifically.
Okay.
But she also, that would be a wonderful thing. But how does your heart feel about it, Cuddles? Do you think it feels more savory or more sweet?
I don't know. I've never eaten an orchid before.
Well, how do you feel holding it? Do you feel warm and salty? Or do you feel warm and sweet?
Hmm. I don't think about that stuff anymore. Let's put it in.
All right, just toss it wherever. Sorry, it's like
Just toss it
going
willy
right there.
nilly.
Or we can
And
split
Cuddles
it.
like puts it in there and starts like
Yeah.
mashing all the pieces together as Sourit asked.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tino loves it. He is really excited, and he kind of floods you all with more questions. You know, just excited about wanting to know about the outside world. And eventually, everyone.
Cuddles says, Mr. Vesser said that some people on the outside world have bad intentions for you and are not nice and are not your friend and will do bad
Oh,
things.
oh, yeah. My parents say that all the time and say that's the reason why I shouldn't leave. But
Mm,
it's a little bit tough being the only kid on the island.
Hmm. Why are you the only kid on the island?
No one ages here.
Oh, why?
Mm, It's a blessing from the North Wind god.
Oh, that's
His
nice.
his children live here.
Oh, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm,
And it's not that people can't like die because, storms and stuff.
oh, yeah.
But we don't really have any worries here, Nobody gets
Mm,
sick and nobody ages. Um,
mm.
but people can leave if they want. Um, some
If you
people.
leave, then do you age?
Mhm.
Mm.
I'm thinking about leaving and maybe one day so that I can come back as a teenager.
Oh, do you have
And
boats?
mhm. It's just that, like you said, Cuddles, the grown-ups, well, at least a lot of the grown-ups here on the island, at least ever since the war, their heart hurts. So it reminds them of things they don't want to remember. But I want to see the world. I want to see what it's like. You know, like there's just so much, and so many questions that I want answered, and I don't know. I don't want to be a little kid forever.
But being a little kid is nice.
It is.
People take
I,
care of you.
they do. They do. But sometimes I get bored. Sometimes I look out on the
Mm,
horizon and I think about all of the places I could be.
mm,
I envy you,
mm.
Cuddles. You've been to so many.
Me?
Yeah, you've
Why?
been to you've been to so many different places. You've
Mm,
seen cool things, and I've just been here where nobody ages, nothing exciting ever happens. Well,
mm.
except for rest style.
Well, but Mr. Vester,
Yes.
are exciting things always good?
No.
Mm. Oh, then maybe you don't want to see the exciting things.
But most exciting things are good.
Maybe you want to see most of the exciting things. I don't know.
Well, we should take our nap. I like naps. It means I dream, and it's the only way I get to see anywhere other than this island.
Huh.
And he just like
Mm.
snuggles up in some blankets and falls asleep.
Suri
Mm,
is.
Oh,
Go ahead.
huh? Yeah, Cuddles?
what did you dream?
Oh, he sits up in that kind of tired-eyed kid way. And he's like, "Oh, sometimes I dream of storms out in the sea, and I'm flying through them. Sometimes I dream about walking through forests where the flowers are bigger than I am. Sometimes I dream about um, uh, fields, endless flowers with people playing music. Sometimes I had a nightmare once about the slobbering god, but um, I woke up and then I was gone and I realized I was okay. Um, and then sometimes I forget them. Those are just the ones I can remember.
Now, normally there's a move that I say when I ask this, you can get a token, but you cannot get a token at this moment. Even though Cuddles asks that question, no token can be given to you.
Hmm.
And Sourit is trying to figure out how she ended up with another child just randomly, and it's just sitting there for a moment. Like, oh, okay, I guess this child is napping here. It is his older relative's house, so I'm not going to say anything. But she does have a moment to aside to Vester because she comes from Prairie Voles, and she
Mhm.
also comes from a location where like fertility and the fecundity basically of those groups is just, and like part of the beauty and celebration is like reproduction for those who want to do that and the babies and all the rest of that. And when Tina was like, I'm the only child, Suri has a moment where she's just like, the math is not mathing.
Math is not
Like for
mathin'.
a moment, you even see her just kind of, she asides to Vester. Did you see any other children?
Here?
No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see any other children at all. Um,
Okay.
although,
Um.
you know, now that I think about it, he kind of looks over and says, you know, just because things aren't good doesn't mean that you can't learn from them. He's like for instance, this this sort of sardine and nut paste dish, it's not good,
Mhm.
but you
Oh,
can learn something from it.
okay,
Like, don't eat that.
okay.
But good
Uh,
serious side. But there might be someone who enjoys it. It's okay
There
if
might
something's
be, there might
guppy for
be.
you. But Suri is just going to wait till Tino falls asleep. It's going through the, as she
And
always
Cuddles
does.
doesn't fall asleep. Cuddles
Yeah.
just pulls out the little booklet, and Cuddles is actually just sketching now because Cuddles gets tired of like practicing letters, but and then
Mhm.
just starts like just drawing, but sort of props up their back against the wall of the cave and just sort of like draws.
So there have been new things that Suri has added to her camp setup, and in this particular case, after they clean up, and cleanup means looking to Vester because I assume they have some kind of table that's low to the ground that they set up for all this kind of stuff. And she looks to Vester and he's like we agreed before, we do our own dishes. So are you going to clean that all up tonight or do we have to put it in the I don't want to deal with any type of, I know they have no worries, but they didn't say they didn't have vermin.
Oh, don't worry, I'll do the dishes.
take,
You can't
take,
have can't
take it.
have food, you know, without clean dishes. And I want more food.
Uh, both of you take a token, one for speaking your true feelings on a subject, and one for, doing something without really expecting anything in return. Like, food is routine. You're not asking for payment. You're just gonna do the dishes. And the nap begins. And
And Cuddles doesn't nap, just stays up and
Cuddles
Now,
kind of
doesn't
just
nap.
let
watches over
me,
everybody and
Yeah,
plays
if I
with the
can just,
moth.
if I can
yeah,
just put this out here,
yeah.
because I have taken another level for a specific reason.
Oh, I got you.
And in order to kind of push this, I am going to go ahead and spend a token and then spend an additional token.
Here we go.
The first token is to, ask Cuddles, even if you don't want to nap, can you come and lay beside me? And she has set out like a blue pillow. It's a very beautifully embroidered dark blue pillow. Um, and timing wise, are we in the evening yet, or is it still midday?
It's late midday, so because you're taking a nap, so like the way I imagined it was around noon-ish when you had lunch, and then you had the feast, and now it's maybe like 3 or 4 o'clock. So it'll be sundown in a few hours.
Okay, so we're gonna redact that for a minute and just still spend the token to allow someone to connect with you on a personal level, as she's also going to take out her writing things, lay on her bedroll, but take out her writing things as well. And start writing so Cuddles can either copy what she's doing or watch what she's doing and so on in this period of napping.
Yeah.
In order to kind of also set Cuddles' mind more at ease.
Yeah.
In this particular situation, and then says, sometimes I create tallies for how many snores Fester does when he sleeps
Oh,
and try to see
Oh.
if there's more the night of this nap or the next one. It's just a fun little
Okay.
game I play.
oh, okay. 1, 2, 2, 7, 9, 1, 11-7.
This is
Yes,
truth.
yes. Then there's
And
like one that's like extended, and she's like, I'm just gonna count that one as 10. Just
and you know, in this like little sweet moment as you're resting in the cave, we're gonna take a break. And we are back. So, nap time has passed. It is, we'll say, what do you say? It's the evening. It's the evening. The island is illuminated with lanterns. Drums are being played. The the feast without cooking is continuing. Everyone is continuing to potluck, you know, um, throughout the island. You have your encampment. People are doing night fishing out on the pier, and playing various games. Some people are just napping. Some people have like these little like colorful bungalows set up out by the beach with thick rugs, and over the rugs they have like bedding and hammocks, and some people have hookah, um, and it is just it is an entire island on vacation. Um, what would you all like to do? Where would you like to visit? How would you like to spend the time before bed, these the evening hours of rest?
Cuddles, what do you think of this place?
Mm.
I don't know. Mm. Mm. What do you think about the name cave or camp? We're in a cave and we're camping. It starts with the same sound. That could be my new name.
Do you think it
One
suits
of
you?
those.
Do you think
I
they
don't know.
suit you?
I don't know.
Well, a name, if you're going to pick a new one, should reflect who you are. Who do you think you are? Who do you feel like?
I don't know. I have a dream sometimes.
What sort of dream?
It's new. It's a new dream.
Yes.
And if you notice, none of Cuddles' clouds on strings, the dreams, are there anymore. They must have gotten lost. They're not there anymore. There's just like, yeah, they're all gone.
What is this dream about?
Hmm.
Well, there's a kitten. And it's me. But it's Cuddles. And Cuddles doesn't know about me. And is sleeping. And is dreaming. But I know that Cuddles can't know about me. And I don't think is ever going to wake up again. And that's the only dream I have. Whatever I dream, that's what I dream. I dream of Cuddles, sleeping and dreaming. And I know that I have to hide from Cuddles, but I don't have any other dreams. That's the only one. I don't think it's a bad dream, but I don't like it.
And why don't you like it?
It's weird to see another me who's not me, but is me, but also that Cuddles doesn't even know about me at all. So that's strange. I don't like the idea of being two people. I think dreams are stupid. I don't like them.
Well, don't you carry about dreams?
I don't think so.
You don't give people dreams?
I don't remember that. No, I don't think
Oh.
so.
So
Why do I have this broken mirror, you think?
Well,
And
that's a good
Cuddles hands you the
question.
mirror that every time you look at it, you would see the dream of the merciless god, and it's just a broken mirror. There's nothing in it. There are no dreams there.
Light goes down and looks at it.
Well, what would you like to be?
Oh, okay. I can tell you, but you can't tell Sourit yet, because I'm not ready.
Okay. Well, I've been known to keep a secret.
I want to be a Mothtender.
And everyone, I will now reveal that my last level up I took was that I forgot all of my dreams. And they all are forgotten. They faded away. Because remember when I forgot? I pay the token, forget.
Yep.
And now I will never dream again. I will only have one dream and one dream only. And that dream is the dream of the other me, and I have to take a new playbook. And the new playbook I take is Mothtender. I'm no longer a dreamer.
Well, moth tending is a noble profession, and I suppose Sourit could use an apprentice.
I just need to learn how to read and write better.
Although we might have to convince Sourit of that.
But I have a moth, Luna, and I'm learning how to make letters. They're hard, and then I can be a Mothtender.
You certainly can.
Luna illuminates with a pale inner light, a white light, and is just so delighted and happy.
When do you want to tell Sourit?
When I'm better at writing.
Well, I'm sure Sourit will tell you that there's so much more to being a moth tender than just writing.
Oh. I've forgotten so much but I'm trying to remember all the practical things that are important, like writing, and you're teaching me fishing, and that's practical. And then I'm going to do all of those things.
Well, and, Mothtenders make sure that people can communicate with each other, and that they can, that people aren't alone, that they can share messages and they can talk to each other from across vast distances, and those are
That's
very important things.
Sourit once said that dreams and moths were similar, but I think that you asked me if I like this place, and I don't know, but Kino says they don't grow up here, but I think you have to grow up and let go of all of your dreams and be a grown up. And I'm going to be a grown up now.
Well, I mean, that's certainly one way to do it, but grown-ups can be quite boring,
Light
Mm.
flashes, and you hear they don't really speak. You just sort of intuit, and you both can sense Light saying, "Can you teach Vesper how to be an adult?"
Now, let's not
There
be
was
hasty.
there was a moment when, way back when, Cuddles would look at Light and say, "Oh, that's not a firefly," but Cuddles only sees a firefly now. Like, does not see anything different. And I would also say that that figure, because we're at that sort of moment, right? Vester, that figure that figure that was always there at like dusk and dawn around Cuddles is gone.
Yes.
The figure is no longer there.
Well, I think you should perhaps let Sourit know. That way, Sourit, who is quite the Mothtender, can help you with your letters.
But I want to do it right. So I want to write a letter to Sourit and then have Luna deliver it saying that I want to be a Mothtender, but I don't know how to spell Mothtender, and I'm not good with M's.
Well, can you draw?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you do that? Sourit, Mothtenders send messages from all sorts of people, and sometimes those kith are little, small things who they don't know their letters either, and they just draw.
Oh. Mm.
I'm sure Sourit would understand.
Mm. So, okay, but would you help me make the letter?
Sure. Absolutely.
Mm. You said something to me once.
Yes.
Mm.
What's that?
You once. You said there was something about trust.
Oh, yes. Yes, I asked you if you trusted me.
And I said, of course, because I trust everybody.
Yes.
And then you made a sad face, and I didn't understand that.
Well, trust is it's an interesting thing.
I just wanted to tell you that I understand now that I shouldn't trust all the people, but I still do trust you.
Well, that's good to know.
Because you were trying to tell me that sometimes there are bad things and not everyone could be trusted, and I didn't listen. And I listen now. I understand now.
Well, that's good. But remember that even though you can't trust some people, There are still plenty of good people in the world.
I trust you because you're a hero.
Well, no, not that. Not a hero.
No, but you are. You did
Well.
something, and I don't remember what you did. I can't
Well, I
remember what it was, but you did
did
something
do
very
something.
heroic.
Well, I don't know about all that, but I definitely did some things.
Light says heroes are dangerous things.
Mm.
And oh, sorry.
Sorry. What brings you to these wonderful proceedings?
Luna leaps up, flies across, and sits on Suri's shoulder and mimes to you. Is it time? Will you say now?
Suri
Cuddles
takes
starts
a
crying.
Suri takes a moment, and it's just reflex to give the moth a bit of nectar.
Oh,
It's just a reflex, and then quietly also, has been trying to teach Cuddles the various commands for the moth to return back to its tender, because Suri is not Luna's tender,
mhm.
and just very, firmly is like return. Um,
And Luna flies back.
and shakes her head a little bit and says, Cuddles has been doing a very good job training you. You just need to remember not to try to deliver any messages that you have not been entrusted to.
She
And
flies, does like a circle around Cuddles, and a little bit of that moon dust sparkle, like goes around, and
Mm.
she lands on his shoulder.
how much of that realistically like could Suri have heard? I don't know. I thought they went
I
like
I
away.
I
I would
think
say all of it.
Okay.
yeah, I think maybe you went to get like one of the fruit baskets, because there's a bunch of everybody's just giving away fresh fruit baskets. They're like, please take it, it'll go bad. Enjoy. And like we'll just say Sai arranged, for her family to give you a fruit basket, and you heard the whole conversation outside of the cave.
So when
Cuddles
when
is
all
not good yet with like deception. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like or like
Yeah.
being sneaky. Cuddles is has not gotten that part yet.
Hmm.
and Suri just takes a moment and it taken even longer, even after the bulk of the conversation had finished, to come in so that you couldn't see the darkened tear tracks on her fur,
Mm.
near her where her whiskers are and so on. And so kind of like does a cover thing like she's got splashed by the water trying to get in through the waterfall. So like everything is wet
Oh
when she
no!
comes in. And it's just
Oh,
like, oh,
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 you
Cuddles,
fell in
take a
water.
token for speaking your true feelings.
I
You fell in water.
got a little splashed.
Mm.
Sets the fruit basket down and then goes over to what would be like the sitting area of where they've been encamped, wrings out her little ear things that have been wet, takes a moment to groom her little
Cuddles
ears.
goes
Mhm.
over and just starts licking you.
Mm-hmm.
Just starts licking you to clean you.
And Sari just very quietly and not closing it off for Vester to also come and sit, just says, well, I think it's time for me to fulfill my promise. Promise is an agreement that you keep. And my promise was to tell you what I dream about.
Oh. Oh.
And she sits there for a moment. And she says, Dear Fleur, I remember that moment, right when the sun was deciding to go to sleep and the moon was yawning its way into the sky as we sat in the peach orchard in that one little grove we had just shared one of the first peaches of the season, and wrapped around the pit you had somehow, maybe a sleight of hand, who knows what little small gods you communicate with, had put that small silver ring, and I said, of course. I also remember the weight of that ring as it hit my chest as I tried to run as fast as I could, wishing I had the same wings as the moths that deliver messages to make it back, to see for myself what had happened, only to see a beautiful sapling with the promise of spring blossoms, with the whisper of your laughs, and with hopefully the slightest warmth in that peach shade of the fruit you would produce, to remember how warm your laughter and your heart hugs once were. And then I remembered, nestled in the roots that had just started to grow, a small kitten that had made its way, wandering in dreams, resting there, seemingly out of place, waking up with a yawn and asking, or perhaps telling, Cuddles. Perhaps it was remiss of me to even not ask the small little cloud if that was the name that they wished to go by, but it was indeed the first bit of warmth I had felt since the day you became a tree. I couldn't find a more poetic way to say the day you became a tree because I know you'd get a laugh out of the day you became a tree. That's how I refer to the reference. My dearest Fleur, we've traveled, we've seen, we've discovered so many things. I think I've actually documented every moth tower that is within walking distance. And behind me floats the most beautiful cloud. Dearest Fleur, I often wonder what our life may have been. And then I remind myself of how full my life actually is. And so I thank you, my love, my light, my peach blossom. Warmest regards. I'm just kidding. Love, Sourit. And she says, and that is what I dream.
That's a beautiful dream.
Isn't it?
Can I deliver it?
You can deliver it. You can keep it. I just want you to know.
Um, I want to be a Mothtender like you.
And I want you to be a Mothtender like you. But I don't mind showing you a few things.
Okay. Thank you.
Cuddles
I don't think
or
I ever
no?
had a name. I don't think I ever had a name. Cuddles was the first thing I remember people calling. And it was Sir who called me that. So wait.
Yes.
Parents give you names, right?
Usually. Sometimes.
Well, then Sourit gave me the name Cuddles, and that's my name. 'Cause
Well, then so it is. Why don't you think about that and let me talk to Sourit for a moment?
okay.
And as Cuddles sort of like goes out, I'm just going to say that there's something in the Mothtender playbook, which is choose one thing that you will devote your life to protecting. And that one thing that I've chosen is the wisdom of your caring adoptive mother, who reminded you always to be yourself. And Cuddles sort of heads out of the cave after like just giving a little cuddle to Sourit.
Oh,
Why are you doing this to me, Trooper? Oh my god. Whew.
Sourit, I think before Cuddles frightened me. And I think that I hoped that we could avoid something horrible. And I think perhaps we have. But it may have come at the expense of Cuddles' innocence and dreams. But I think that you will be quite the teacher for Cuddles. I think you will be able to show Cuddles that while not everything is wonderful, and while there are still dangerous things, not the sort of dangerous things that there used to be, but still hazards in the world, I think you are the perfect teacher for that. And I think this place is a good place for me to move on and do something that I've needed to do for quite some time. And I think that I hope that you will let Cuddles know what, well, you'll think of something. You always do. But I have, before I do that, something for you. Vester will kind of look about and will reach into his pouch and pull out a small shell. Something that he's not supposed to have, that he stole from the Northern Wind God. If you wish, when you wish, you and the one you love, it is your choice. But this should change him back and undo what my former lover did.
And the shell just illuminates. You can feel a primal power emanating from such a simple, small, beautiful thing. A piece of the Northern Wind God's very throne. A miracle.
And tell Cuddles that I'm not gone, but I will always be about.
Suri says one thing. Now, Vest, you know me well enough. That message needs to be recorded on paper. and then I will deliver it as necessary. Hands over a piece of paper and a pen. It's just like, and while you do that, I'm going to go pretend like I am not crying because the salt does just horrible things to the fur right around the lining of my nose. And like, I don't have the balm that I need to deal with that. And this has been a lot. And now, like, everything is wet because I can't do that again because I'm going to get cold. So you just write that letter. Um, I hope that whatever peace you find in the decision that you are going to make, that it comes with actually forgiving yourself for whatever you're holding on to related to your most toxic, horrible. And I think now, in hindsight, you can see that, but like maybe not horrible, but toxic, definitely toxic. You're toxic. Like I'm your friend, so I'm trying to say this delicately, but just if that was your type, I hope whatever you are going to do for you helps you learn better.
Oh, I've learned, trust me. Investor will write a letter to Cuddles and say that Cuddles should trust Sourit and that Vester will always be about, and that Vester will remind Cuddles that while there are those things in the world, that the best gift that you can have is trust. Trust in a friend, trust in someone who you travel with, and that sometimes trust has to be defended and fought for and won, but that once you have it, that it is a wonderful thing. And Vester will take the note and lay it on the table, unravel his scarf, and lay that with the letter. And with that, Vester will activate Shape 3, and he will become mischief itself. And fade into the ether and just be a force of playful mischief in the world. And I will spend. I have 10 tokens,
Okay. All right.
and I am going to spend them all and being a force of mischief as I leave and have things that I am not supposed to have. Vester will steal one last thing, and he will leave with the scarf another dream for Cuddles, other than just the one.
And
And
another.
Suri
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
is going to take that letter from Vester. It's going to put it in an envelope, write Cuddles' name on it, go through all the things, seal it. And when Cuddles learns to read, we'll give him that letter and just turns to go wherever Cuddles is in the cave with a peach that she pulls from her satchel now that Vester is not there to take it. Looks to Cuddles and says,
I mean, Vester being a force of mischief,
Jesus
I
Christ.
imagine that there's a bite taken out of the peach.
Just a small bite.
Just
Just a little
bite.
bite. It's just like, and it's just like you pull it out, and like, there's just like a little, and you can like, you can't see him, but you can sense him. You can sense your friend.
Yep. And for a minute, Sourit has like a crack in her like professionalism, and then she looks to Cuddles and decides if Fleur is going to meet Vester in whatever plane of existence consciousness actually is. I don't know if it's dreams. That's not my expertise. If Fleur is going to whoop his. It's going to be interesting to read about the stories. Looks to Cuddles. Vester has a message for you that I will deliver to
Oh.
you after you know your letters.
Okay.
And hasn't gone anywhere because now Vester is everywhere.
What does that mean?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it means like this. And she holds up the peach with the bite out of it. These always come out whole, but ever since Vester has done whatever it is he's done, I have a feeling we'll have a lot of funny jokes played on us.
Oh, he's hiding. Like hide and seek?
Yes, but I'm not seeking him, so
Oh,
someone else will
I
do
should-
that.
Okay. Sourit, you're not going to go anywhere, are you?
Well, we have to go places if we're going to deliver messages.
No, I meant without me.
No. One day you'll go somewhere without me. But until you're ready
I
for
don't
that,
want to.
well,
I want to stay with you. I love you.
I love you too, Cuddles. Well, I'm not going to eat this peach because I don't know what happens when something you can't see bites a magically procured piece of fruit. But
I could try it.
only if you want to.
Could find out what happens. What if I turn into Vester?
Do you really want to do that?
No.
Okay.
I won't eat the peach. I'll wait till later.
Seriously. Maybe we'll bake it. It's like maybe we'll do that.
Uh,
And Cuddles curls up next to right next, just like curls up with Sourit and is like not gonna go to sleep. And he's like working on the drawing. And then you can just see in the warmth of the cave, just all cuddled up next to just all up there in the crook of Sourit. Just you can see a little over time Cuddles, they just start to nod off and fall asleep.
in the field of this dream that Cuddles has, one of my kith is going to make a move. Northern Wind God, in his cat form, walks through the lonely field with the small, wet kitten alone in the battlefield. Oh, my little friend reaches down, takes the eternally dreaming Cuddles in his arm, and gives him warmth. And then he looks to the sky, where there are two constellations, Vester and Dessa, in the heavens, together, again, in dreams. And with that, I feel like we have reached our journey's end. Thank you all so much for going on this journey with me. It has been beautiful and emotional. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for donating. We're gonna take a little as we're wrapping up a little bit early, but self-care, rest is so, so, so important. I've been your Okami. I have been your guide. And I will have a special announcement, but first I want my players to tell us who they are, plug something they're doing, and as we did last week, offer some love to their fellow players. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with Trooper because Trooper knows how this goes.
Hey everybody, I'm TrooperSJP. Ooh, gotta wipe my eyes. There was smoke that came in from next door. I don't know. It was my pleasure to be Cuddles, the former dreamer, now Mothtender, for this 4-shot. And I'm gonna give my love. You can find me places. What is today? Today is Sunday. The next place you can find me in terms of RPGs is on my channel at 7 p.m. Eastern, Friday, where I will be doing a combat boot camp using Traveler. I'm going to have my players in. It's the week before we have a big premiere of the season 6 of Gambler. So if you want to sort of check out me giving our players the run through on space combat, come and hang out with us next Friday. But let me give love. So I want to give love to Kallum, who somehow stayed awake. Kallum is not in a U.S. time zone. So is working on like 13 seconds of sleep or something over the last 4 weeks. So thank you, Kallum, for being here for us and doing all the things that you do. Sorry, you're right, Werewolf. I
should not be in Cuddles' voice. And then
I thought you were doing a bit. I was like, yes,
No.
Cuddles is saying goodbye.
No, that was I thought I'd turned it off. I thought I swapped. And then I want to say thank you, Okami, of course, for being our guide and doing all the work. It's clear that you care so much about this world and the system. So thank you for sharing it with us. I want to give love to Umbral. Umbral, I really like to see how you embodied Vester, and like by the time we got to this moment, right? Like we knew who Vester was really, really well, and Vester's humor that was clearly a coping mechanism. And I think you did such beautiful work in this session to see how Vester's impact on other people, see Vester realize their impact on other people, and then try to make amends in the way that they know how. And there's something so like very beautiful about that moment of and also, Sourit went and spoke to Vester last session. This time Vester came to speak to Sourit, and that was that moment that you needed, right? And it was beautiful. And I want to also just honey, broke my heart. Like the work you did today was so deep and so impressive. It was an honor to be at the same table as you, while we got to see that letter, the dream, but also just Suri's sacrifice, right? In certain ways, and also change, right? It seemed like Suri never really did not allow herself to be a person, just allowed herself to be a job after her traumatic loss. And then being able to accept being able to be a person again, right? With Cuddles. That was it was really beautiful. So thank you. I wanted to give you love for all of that. It was beautiful.
Oh god. Umbral.
First off, yes, all the love to Kallum for
Yes,
pushing
Kallum.
through all of this, and just making some lovely commentary in the chat the whole time. Just amazing, and thank you for that. I'm Umbralknight, and I was playing Vester, who was the troubled vagabond and former soldier who did awful things and was haunted by those things.
Yeah.
And yeah, very much so. As Trooper said, was using humor as a coping mechanism and kind of playing kind of the court jester role um, to uh, to try and cope with those things, and finally, like getting to a moment where Vester saw that what was developing between Cuddles and Sourit, that it was going to be okay, that it wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be maybe necessarily all tea and roses, but it was going to be okay, and that there
Yeah.
was going to be a bond there that was going to allow Sourit to lead
Heal.
Cuddles, steer Cuddles in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that was great. And then I think the way both Trooper and Honey played that and played just their roles as a whole, just spectacular. And the shift in Cuddles from the Dreamer to the Mothtender was wonderful. Bravo. And then Sourit, again, just echoing what Trooper said, playing this wonderful role. Yeah, that of someone who had been through an awful, horrible trauma and just kind of
Yeah.
throwing themselves into their work and becoming their work.
Yeah.
Was just so amazing to see. Okami guiding us through this wonderful story, and Vester found this place. We have been to a lot of places
Yep.
that I think if you look back at the other places, if you've watched through the rest of the show, we had been to all of these places that reminded Vester of his past. And this was the first one that didn't. And so Vester finally felt at peace, and he finally felt that he could let go and that he could give what he could to those that he felt he had wronged, in one way or another, whether or not it was his fault. He felt it was.
Yeah.
And so he gave those final gifts and felt that he could now become something else and do something else and give up all of that past. So what a wonderful time and what a wonderful story. And I was so glad to do it here and do it particularly with this group of people, and particularly doing it for this wonderful event to raise money for Black Girls Rock. So thank you to everyone involved in this.
All right, Honey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Honey, aka Honeyanddice. I made myself a promise about 5 years ago that I would never cry on stream again after sobbing in front of 10,000 people on a Twitch stream once. So I should wear mascara so that it's even more of an incentive, but I don't. So, anyways, um, thank you to Kallum. Thank you to everyone who did art. Thank you for everyone who invested
Nano.
time, energy,
Nano, thank you.
voluntarily to give us imagery and support to tell this amazing story using a system that lots of people love, and being patient with us as we play through it without losing our authentic play styles to communicate to you a story that comes from genuine love. So thank you for everyone who tuned in and donated. Thank you, Okami, for being brave enough and gathering up the courage you needed to even send the invites out. Because it means a lot to be asked. I think everybody who is an AP performer um, gets the I know you're too busy, or you might be too busy, or I didn't think to ask you because I thought you were too busy. So it means a lot to be asked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It means a lot to have cast members that you can trust enough to yes and through a story that is emotional. Um, I don't have bleed between myself and my characters, but I try to use my characters to show people things that are normal and things that are okay. When my father passed away, I went completely numb, lost a full year, but threw myself into work, and being head of household and making sure things got done until I was reminded that I could breathe and that I was a person. And I think it's very important for people to remember that it's okay to take that time to figure out how you want to process. Because there will always be people where you least expect it who have been basking and being warmed by the light you don't even know that you are sharing. And when you have enough oxygen in your lungs to take an exhale and open your eyes, you will often find a community, maybe one or two people, who have been quietly and carefully helping you stand because you were helping them remember to breathe. So remember, it's okay to be okay, and it's okay not to be okay. And don't let anyone tell you how to process your grief. So, thank you for letting me tell the story with you.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And if I
Uh,
might say, I was planning an apocalypse in multiple
Yeah,
different ways. I had
yeah,
no,
I had at
the
least three
apocalypse
ways
was
that I could cause some very
yeah.
serious
Yeah.
apocalyptic trouble.
And
serious.
I took
Uh,
magic. I took magic I would never use in preparation for the apocalypse. So there
Yes.
were level ups that Suri did, but they never
yes.
had to be used because Cuddles all
Yeah.
from the
We grow
apocalypse.
we grow and change. We grow and change.
Yeah.
Uh this
Oh, by the way, Umbral, there is a move that depending on which one we could have gone with, except that I used that token to forget everything last session.
Yeah.
Um, if I hadn't have taken the world into the Sky Castle, but the thing is because Dessa
Yep.
left,
Yeah. Yeah.
it wasn't going to go. But the other one I would have had is that I have the one where you wake up and then you just tell everybody who you are now, who you actually have been the entire time. And I was going to be Dessa. I was going to just yeah. I was gonna if I didn't take everybody in the world into the Sky Castle, Dessa's Sky Castle, fulfilling her plan to make everybody happy
Yeah.
by
Yep.
going into the fantasy space, I would have just had
Become
That's
her.
Dessa
a
take over
Yeah.
Cuddles.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful.
I'm just letting you know. But that was taken care of. So
Yeah.
it's
the
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
apocalypse
good.
didn't
It's all
happen.
good.
Mhm.
Special announcement before we leave you all for the evening. While this journey with these travelers has concluded, a season's oath will be returning. We're going to take a full week off to breathe and reset, but we are going to have another cast of travelers who are going to be continuing throughout the cycle of seasons and Haeth. Uh, Tomas, who you may know from Pantsless Tables, Candela Obscura series that I have run. Of Also, we have Adi, another amazing talent from Pantsless Tables, and Javante, who was the facilitator, or Crimson Snake, as some people know, who was the facilitator for Gotham by Grassland in this amazing fundraising event that we had with APOC Limited. And we also have a couple of guests, including Lex, who was running our graphics for the entire event overall. Nano will be coming back to do art, and also a couple other surprise artists have wonderfully donated their time. Dem, I believe their name is, and we're all putting it together. So these Wanderhome stories here at House of Dreams will continue, but but first we're gonna take a rest.
What about you?
What
You
about
haven't given
me?
love. Yeah, you
I
haven't given
I
us told us where we'd find you.
oh yes, of course, of course. Well,
You haven't given
um,
us your outro.
yes, my outro. So I am Okami. I have been your guide. I will continue to be your guide here on Sundays at 3 o'clock. Uh, Next time that you hear from me, you are going to be. I will be Pantsless Tables every other Friday, playing in BC. You know, doing my thing, playing Dungeons and Dragons because that's what I do. Indie games and D&D, my two big passions in the world. And I am also, we've got lots of this series is going to be continuing. I'm going to be continuing being the guide. You can find my games on khokami.itch.io. Um, I just got done recording a podcast uh, over at Follow the Leader, where I was facilitating my game fair season that I have written. So keep an eye out on that for announcements over on my Blue Sky, which, funnily enough, is also khokami.itch.io because Blue Sky lets us do that. Uh, Thank you all so much. Thank you to everyone who donated. Love to all of my players. Thank you for saying yes to this project. And know that you are always welcome back to Haeth anytime. All you have to do is ask. And with that, farewell, my friends. It seems as if we have finally found a home.